if you're not uncomfortable, you're not growing. I quit my job, had no client or nothing, but I was like, this has got to work. What is my opportunity to show my sense of style and fashion?
Yeah.
I saw open houses as my opportunity to spark conversations with people. And in real estate, I feel like our names is really all we really have. And once the name and the brand is tarnished, we're going to be playing cleanup.
Welcome everybody to another podcast. We are so excited because here we are interviewing the cream of the crop, the best of the best real estate agents from around the Houston area. And today we have Geron.
Yes.
We're so excited to have you.
Thanks for having me.
Yes.
I really appreciate this opportunity.
I am so grateful you're here. So the way that I met you and the way that I have met most of our real estate agents now, clients, friends, is through social media.
Yes.
Isn't that crazy?
Yes. You guys slid in our DMs, right?
Yes. We slid into those DMs and we have been able to form a great relationship. And you keep us busy, G.
Yes, I do. I do. And it's crazy that you and I talk so much. And this is my first time meeting you in person.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's been months, maybe almost a year, right?
Yes, it has been.
That
Right
is
over a
awesome.
year now.
Oh my gosh, that is amazing. So
Yeah.
I have been able to get to know you without knowing you in person
Right.
through social media. And I would love to jump into that in a little bit.
Yes.
But let's start off with your journey. Take me back however far you want to go back before you started real estate. Guide me through your life, because this is a podcast where real estate agents are going to get inspiration, motivation.
Yes.
So take me back as far as you want.
Yes. So before real estate, I was doing student housing property management. And I did that for 8 years. I started a freshman in college. I needed a situation where I could pay my rent and have one less expense that I needed to worry about.
Yeah.
And I noticed at the time that my apartment complex that I was living at was hiring. So I went down, interviewed, got the job on spot, and it was the perfect situation because I didn't have to worry about rent. I was just working to pay my rent. And then anything left over, I would get in a paycheck.
That's genius.
Yes. I don't think they do that anymore, but it was a blessing for me at the time. And so I did that and I just kind of stayed with the business. I quickly worked my way up the ladder. And by the time I was a junior in college, I was running an entire apartment complex by myself.
Oh, wow. And were you studying like something about property management?
I was not.
No.
I was not. I just needed a job. I realized that I can make money and grow in my career really fast in this business.
Yeah.
Because a lot of it is about experience. And so as I grew up the ladder, got promotions. So I was a leasing agent, a leasing manager, an assistant manager. And by the time I got to my junior year, I was a full property manager.
Wow.
Yeah. So I would go to
crazy.
school full time and work full time. And I would go to classes in between my work shift and come back. And the crazy part is that I had my supervisor, my maintenance supervisor at the time, was in his 50s.
Yeah.
My assistant manager in the time was in her 30s with the whole family. And you got this 21-year-old kid
Wow.
like telling you what to do
Yeah.
and reprimanding you
Oh
when
my
things don't go
goodness.
right. So I did that, and I did that for 8 years. So I traveled around, saw the world, had various corporate positions throughout my time in property management, did new development construction projects, and got to the point where I just feel like, okay, there's more for me. I wasn't completely satisfied anymore. And I felt that my identity was in my job and my career.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so a really good friend of mine been in real estate and said that I think that you would be phenomenal in real estate, and pay for my real estate courses. And so I got licensed, and the rest's been kind of history from there.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is amazing. So I love that journey, because we have a lot of young clients that are fresh starting out. They don't even go to college, or maybe they're going to college part-time, and they're 18, 19, 20, 21, like you said. What is one piece of advice that you would give them as they're starting their journey
In real estate,
in real estate?
I would say if you're not uncomfortable, you're not growing. I quit my job and had 6 months of expenses truly saved up. And I quit my job, had no client or nothing, but I was like, this has got to work.
Wow.
And so I made myself uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And when you're uncomfortable and you see that account getting smaller and smaller,
Mm-hmm.
you put a little bit more hustle goes
Yeah.
behind, right? You're gonna think twice
Uh,
about not going to that open house or not
yeah.
calling that client back. And so I always say, well, the minute I get comfortable, then it's time for me to make a change. Yeah.
Yeah, that is powerful. That is powerful advice for all new agents out there. There's a ton, especially since it's been a little easier
Uh-huh.
because of 2020. A
Yes.
lot of new agents jumped in. Well, this works for young or
Uh-huh.
older agents, but as long as they're new, it has been kind of easier since the pandemic. Things
Yes.
are harder, a lot
Yes.
more difficult now.
Yes.
So they might be giving up, all that stuff.
Hmm.
Tell us about some of the starting out your real estate journey.
Hmm.
Was it easy?
Hmm.
How'd you go into that?
Yeah. So I really understood sales and I really understand people. I think me managing an apartment complex at 21 years old, I have to understand people.
Yeah.
Right. And so once I realized that, I knew that I just needed to understand the business and learn the business,
Mm-hmm.
the sales part, the charisma part, the talking to people, that was easy for me.
Yeah.
And so I realized that my strengths were being in front of people. And
Mm-hmm.
so my first year in the business, I sold 21 homes and 20 of those were open house prospects that just a stranger
Wow.
walked through the door.
Oh my
So I realized
goodness.
that me being in front of people was my strength. And so I think my best advice is find out your strengths and your talents and see how you can monetize those talents.
Wow, that is tricky. And did you get that advice of going to open houses and doing that from somebody else, or did is that the main strategy that you use to get your business started?
Yes, that was my main strategy. So I started on a team when I first started,
Mm-hmm.
and I recommend any agent that is starting off join a team because you don't know what you don't know. And I was blessed enough to have someone that showed me, hey, open houses work.
Yeah.
I'm going to show you how to host an open house. And I just took it and magnified it even more and realized that this was my bread and butter.
Mm-hmm.
So I was at an open house every single weekend. I did about 8 a month from 12 to 4.
Oh my gosh. So you basically had no weekend
No
life?
weekend life. And then I
And
would go home and follow up with the people that walked through the front door
yeah.
to convert them over.
Okay, so
Yeah.
I was about to ask about like more tactical things
Yes.
that you did in the open house to stand out.
Hmm.
It could be
Yeah.
nerve-wracking. Like you're either there waiting forever for somebody to come in.
Hmm.
What did you do to kind of get on their good side or
Hmm.
get them to be attracted to you, attracted
Yeah.
to the home?
Yeah. So I tell my team that presentation is everything.
Mhm.
And so I just had the best presentation. We had a candle, we had music in the background, we had mimosas, we had
I love it.
white claws. So we made
Nice.
it like an experience for
Mhm.
people. And so I got so many compliments that this is the best open house I've been to. All
Wow.
right. And so the goal was for me to get them to hang out with me for as long as possible.
Mhm.
So they see me as a friend and it gives me an opportunity to tap into their senses a little bit more.
Yeah.
Right. And so, and I also use it as my opportunity to wear my nicest clothes. Right. And
Mm.
so I will dress up really nice. And,
Yes.
and, and so all of that kind of help from a tactic standpoint,
Mhm.
me convert people. And
I
so like
love
when I
it.
would call people, I would be like, hey, I was the guy who had on the yellow suit. Oh, I remember
Oh.
you.
Oh, so that's what you mean by dress nice. Like
Yes.
stand
I would
out.
stand out, but it was very fashion forward because real life real estate agents, we're not wearing full suits showing houses,
Yeah.
right? So, what is my opportunity to show my sense of style and
Mhm.
fashion?
Yeah.
I saw open houses as my opportunity
I
to
love that.
spark conversations
Mhm.
with people.
That is
And then I
so
also
fun.
kept my open houses in the inner loop, right? And
Mhm.
so I identify who is my avatar client.
Yeah.
And my avatar client is wearing the clothes I'm wearing. They're shopping where I'm
Mm.
shopping. They're eating where I'm eating.
Yeah.
Right. And
Yeah.
so I didn't do much in the suburbs because at the time, the suburbs was not my avatar client.
Mhm. That is powerful because we've gone to different brokerages and well, I give a social media reels class
Uh
for
huh.
agents to start showing up on video, which you do absolutely stunningly. And I would
Thank you.
love to go into that in a little bit.
Thank you.
And then I tell them, okay, let's take 2 minutes and we're going to try to narrow down your client avatar.
Hmm.
And they freak out and
Yeah.
they're like, what? I will work with anybody. I will,
Right.
like, whoever wants to buy or sell their house? Like, and I'm like, do you really want to work with that creepy old guy that's,
Right.
and so what do you say about that? Because I
Yes.
love how you have that down. Like, I
Yes.
need a client avatar if I want
Yes.
success in the future.
Yes, really good question. And I think that's why I was able to convert so many open house people or guests my first year because they all liked me. I liked them. So a lot of my clients become friends, family,
Yeah.
right? And so it was easy. It's easier to convert someone that you can relate to
Hmm.
than someone that you're trying to convince to like me,
Yeah,
right?
for
And
sure.
so it's kind of like that saying that 0% of zero is still zero,
Hmm.
right? I rather narrow down my avatar client and close 20 versus trying to fight for 40 people that I don't relate to.
Wow.
It's easier for me to spark conversation with someone that I can relate to. Yeah.
I love that. That is powerful. And I hope everybody out there listening gets inspired to narrow down.
Yes, because people shop with their friends,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So I want you to see me as, oh, Geron, G's my friend,
Yeah.
right? I would go shopping with G. I would go to happy hour, grab lunch
Hmm.
with G.
Yeah.
People don't want to shop with a car salesman,
Hmm.
right? And so
For
find
sure.
people who you say, hey, would I hang out with this client outside of real estate? And at the same time, too, buying a house is such an emotional journey. It's people's biggest investment. I don't want to ruin your journey and your buying experience because we're not seeing eye to eye,
Yeah.
right?
Exactly.
Our personalities don't mesh, and
Exactly.
that's okay.
Yeah.
And that's why a lot of my clients, I'm proud to say that my clients, I haven't had a situation where I had a client tell me like, hey, after this, I want to be done
Hmm.
with our relationship,
Wow.
right? It
Yeah.
has never happened, but because I'm very particular about who I call my client and who I give my service to.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. And it's okay to be
That's
picky,
okay. Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Because just as much as the client is interviewing the realtor, we
Hmm.
should be interviewing the client just as much
Yeah.
because all it takes is one bad review, one bad situation.
Yeah.
And in real estate, I feel like our names really all we really truly have. And once
Hmm.
the name and the brand is tarnished,
Yeah,
you're going to be playing cleanup
for sure.
the entire time.
And sometimes these relationships or these transactions or these interactions, they're not just like I go to the store one day and I'm done. Like
Yes,
sometimes it's a long
it
process,
is.
months
Yes.
long, right?
Yes. 100%.
So you have to be in good connection
Yes.
with that
Yes.
family, right?
Yeah, because like,
Yeah.
can I see myself working with this person for the next 6 months,
Oh
year,
my gosh,
sometimes even two
Kelly.
years,
Oh my
right?
goodness.
So you gotta really
Yes.
ask yourself that: Do I see this happening?
Yeah. So you mentioned 2 years. In this week, I think there was a post where you did a closing,
Yes.
and the client mentioned in their
Yes.
video, you have been consistent for 2 years.
Yes.
What? How, G?
Yes. I'm in the business for the relationships. I am such a relationship driven person. And that's one of my core values. And I was raised on valuing relationships. And so when I meet someone, it's about establishing a relationship with them, a connection with them.
Yeah.
I tell my team that although real estate is very transactional, it is so relationship driven.
Yeah.
So establish relationship with people. And so I would send small gifts on birthdays. I would invite my prospects to my client events.
Yeah.
I would do random text messages. I would engage on their social media.
Yeah.
I would provide value just throughout their journey. And
Mhm.
so, yeah, it's been a 2 year of just staying in front of them, two
That's
years of
crazy.
fostering the relationship.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
That's awesome. Okay, so let's continue on with your journey. So
okay.
you got started.
Mhm.
You said it's been up from there. Like tell me how else besides doing those amazing
Yeah.
open houses, tell me of an amazing story, an interaction, or maybe a tricky, challenging
Yeah.
one.
Yeah, so I think success in real estate too, it's a lot of who you know, not what you know.
Mhm.
And so as I've been in this space, I have aligned myself with a brand and a brokerage that has elevated my business. And I think it's important to know that every brokerage that I have been at, every person I have met that's been on the leadership or a team leader or broker has shaped my career.
Mhm.
Right. And so I've
I
learned
love
so
that.
much from every
Yeah.
season of my business.
Mhm.
And so I think from a challenging standpoint, I remember that feeling when I got my first inspection report back. And I was like, the client should not purchase this house.
Yeah.
Right. And just that feeling that I got to explain to them that, hey, these things are normal.
Mhm.
These are the common deficiencies you see in a house.
Yeah.
And so with real estate, the more transactions you do, the more skilled you're going to get.
Mhm.
But there's not a one shoe fits all.
Yeah.
Every transaction is so different, right?
Yeah.
And so that brings back the point I made in the beginning. Get on a team,
Mhm.
right? Get on a team on someone who can guide you through that. And thankfully at the time, I did have a team leader that was able to get on the phone with me and say, "Hey, gee, all of these things are normal. This is what I would recommend you say when you speak to your clients."
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is powerful. Not being alone, because like you said,
Yes.
everything is like, if you're doing a new task, a new job, every
Yep.
transaction, and if you've never experienced that before, if
Yep.
you've never gone through it, how are you going to help somebody else go through
Exactly.
it? So having
Exactly.
that mentor, that leader to
Yes.
guide you, hold your hand is super crucial.
Yep.
So tell me now, I see you so much on social media.
Mhm.
How is that possible? What is happening? And I love how you're branding yourself.
Yeah.
It's special, it's unique. Can you give us some of those secrets? Are they secrets?
Yes. And so as I have grown, my brokerage has also put me on a platform to have our in-house production team, which makes it
They're
so much
extremely
easier for
amazing.
me to
Yeah.
record content.
Mhm.
Um, and then our brokerage push getting on video, right? And so
Yeah.
watching like your leader produce content at such a high volume, a lot of us are challenged to do the exact same thing.
Yeah.
And so posting content is so important that I have gotten to the point where I'm bringing in a third party to help with my online branding
Yeah.
because it's the first thing that people goes to and look
Mhm.
at, right? And so I had to get comfortable with being on the camera.
Yeah.
And I think I tell people with real estate, it has blessed me financially, but what it has done for my interpersonal skills, what it has done for my reflection when I look in the mirror, how I feel about myself, I can't put a price tag on that.
Wow.
Right. And so when I first started with video, I didn't like the way that I sound. Right.
Mhm.
I was critiquing myself.
Mhm.
Right. But being in front of video, I can truly say that I'm in the season of my life where I'm comfortable in my skin.
I
And
love
so it's
that.
easier for me to get in front of the camera
Yeah.
and produce those videos.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's so important, and it's about aligning yourself with the right people,
Mhm.
really finding out what is my brand, who am I speaking to,
Yeah.
right? And in real estate, you have to spend money to make money. And so when I
Mhm.
realized that I wanted to do more content, better content, have structured content, I start seeking out support and help.
Yeah.
My team, like what I like to call it, they make me look good, right? They're
Mhm.
okay with being behind the
I
scenes
love that.
and
Yes.
helping me look nice and
Yeah.
doing my social media calendar
Mhm.
and posting on my behalf. And so,
Yes, because sometimes if you're surrounded by people that are like, that's awkward, that's weird, I don't want to do that, then it affects you and you're like, it is awkward. Like, I
yes,
don't want to do it around you. So then
yes,
you're limited to what you can do.
exactly. You got to
Yeah.
be okay with embarrassing yourself a
Mm-hmm.
little bit,
Yeah.
right? Like I just filmed a listing video with our production team and I'm like, let's just do it,
Yeah.
right? Turn the camera on. It's time to rock and roll. And however I'm feeling that day, you're not going to sit in the camera. There were times where I'm losing deals while I'm filming content,
Mm-hmm.
right? But no one knows that because you're like, oh, he's in a good mood. He just made me close the deal,
Yeah.
right? But no,
Wow.
deals are crashing
Mm-hmm.
in the middle of me filming content. But
Mm-hmm.
we just got to get out there and do it.
Yeah. And that keeps you visible.
It
It
does.
keeps you in front of your prospects, in front of your past
It
clients.
does.
It's
It does.
powerful. So if I can, you have a social media coordinator helping you
I
out with this?
do.
Okay,
Yes.
we've been getting a lot of requests because almost all of our clients are realtors, and they're like, "Do you do that? Can you help me? Can you
Yeah.
follow me around?"
Yes. Yes.
So people are wanting that, but they don't know the value that
Yes.
it takes. It gives you so much more. I mean, tell me
Yes.
how has
Yes.
that helped your
Yeah,
business?
so shout out to Dreamy Socials. It's who I'm using to help me with my social media. And it's one of those things where is it a luxury? Yes, it can be considered a luxury,
Mhm.
but is it necessary? Right? I had to look at my budget, like where can I pull back on spending,
Yeah.
right? On crazy stuff, I guess we could say, like eating out or
Mhm.
right or a lot of clothes,
Yeah.
right? To be able to bring on this talent to help
Mhm.
me take my brand to the next level.
Wow.
And so it's not a cheap expense. And I think
Mhm.
a lot of people think that it's cheap. Oh, let
Yeah.
me pay this person $300. But
Yeah.
there's so much thought and strategy that goes behind planning someone's social media.
Yeah.
And if you're like me, I'm a perfectionist through and through. And so I'm very particular. So I'm
Yeah.
sure I drive my person crazy a little bit sometimes, but just my editing and me being very particular about the message I want to put.
Mhm.
But we're only going on about a month and a half into it. And it's been such a blessing to
Yeah.
have that voice and that vision to
Mhm.
help me bring mine to life. Because it's all in my
I love it.
head, but I needed to bring it to paper. And then again, it also gets me uncomfortable too,
Mhm.
right? Because we're having conversations like you're more than just a realtor,
Yeah.
right? You have a dog, you're into men's fashion,
Mhm.
you're getting married. So let's pull
Yes.
in all these elements and kind of open your life up to your audience a little bit more.
Yeah.
And being a private person, naturally, that's hard for me to open up. And so
Yeah.
she's pushing me to kind of open up that part of my life.
I love that. And it has, from our perspective, we see you every
Good.
day. We are seeing a more elevated brand, like you
Thank you
say.
so much. That means a
Everything looks
lot.
so classy,
Thank you.
so good. And I love being a part of being able to enjoy seeing somebody grow in
Yes.
such a way.
Yeah.
And like you said, it is an investment,
Hmm.
but marketing, you should never cut back on that,
Right.
right? Because if you cut back on your marketing costs, then that's like your pipeline for the next 3, 6 months. You're going to
Absolutely.
become invisible.
Absolutely. And I think too with social media, you have to see it as you never know who you're inspiring,
Ooh, I like
right?
that. Yeah.
I know that someone that has a similar story, similar journey that may look like me, that may not look like me, is looking at my stuff and saying, if he can do it, I can do it.
Mm,
Right. And so
yeah.
even just getting on my story
Mhm.
randomly while I'm in my car, it takes a lot out of me to do that. And there's
Yeah.
so many times where I send the photo or the story to Ashley, my fiance,
Yeah.
and just I need her blessing that it's
Yes.
okay. Right. And
I
so
love
I'm
that.
working on getting myself out of that. Just post it. And
Yeah.
I think that goes back to just being comfortable in your skin and being able to make yourself vulnerable. Because I think
Mhm.
as real estate agents, you're playing with this silver lining of like,
Mhm.
okay, this light flex,
Yeah.
right? Like I'm out here doing the damn thing,
Mhm.
but you also don't want to be cocky at the same time. You want to
Yeah.
remain that humble spirit and walk that line.
Yeah.
And sometimes I think people can say, "Oh, this person is being kind of flashy,"
Mhm.
right? But you just got to do it, right?
Mhm.
Because if we're not putting it out there, we're stopping our cash flow, and we can't suffocate our business by not being comfortable
Yeah.
to get on that camera and say, hey, I'm at one of my newest listings. I'm at to film some content. I'm dressed up to the T,
Mhm.
right? They may have a buyer for it. You never
Yeah.
know, right? And so I do a lot of what I do to inspire the next
I
person.
love that.
Yeah. So it's
Mhm.
bigger than just selling the house or having a client. It's like,
Mhm.
who can I inspire that sees me and them to say, hey, you can do this too?
Oh, I love that. So, with that inspiration, are you trying to inspire like future clients or other agents?
Other agents.
Ooh.
Yeah. And I'm going to say this. I don't think the industry is reflective of a black man,
Mm.
right? And I don't think the industry is a reflective of a black man in luxury,
Wow.
right? So
Mhm.
those are my long-term
I
goals
love that.
is to be a black man in Houston in luxury.
I
And I'm
love that.
already kind of scratching that surface with my
Mhm.
4.9 million dollar
Yes.
listing. Yeah, so I'm inspiring other people.
Mhm.
And then I'm also inspiring other people to buy real estate.
Yeah.
And I'm educating my friends and my family about what real estate is
Yeah.
because unfortunately a lot of people in my community we're not always taught the value
Mhm.
of being homeowners or the value of being real estate or the value of investing into real estate.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sometimes I mean, so many people are absolutely clueless, and we feel like we're a little more informed because we're in this world now, in the world of
Yes.
real estate.
Yes.
But before that, like, we had
No
no
idea.
idea,
No idea.
no idea. So, how is one way that you help or educate these people?
Yeah, so I think when the opportunity warrants itself for me to speak up
Mhm.
about the misconception of the market or real estate, I seize those opportunities
Yeah.
when the time is right. So we're all about to enter like this holiday season where
Mhm.
family is getting together, right?
Yeah.
And so I raise my hand like, hey, this is how it really is like. And I'm only saying that to educate and provide value.
Mhm.
And so, one of my foundations with my business and running my team is to add value, inform, and educate.
I love
And
that.
so, I seize those opportunities when the time is right to
Mhm.
educate people when I'm hearing conversations that may not be true.
Mhm. Yeah, and you hear so many things
So many
like
things.
the interest rates and the everything, the market, it's hot, it's cold,
Yep.
it's going on a decline,
Yep.
it's going up.
Yep.
Like you hear so many things and I love what you have done before where you've talked to lenders, you've
Yes.
interviewed different people
Hmm.
to be able to bring out this education. Do you do
Yes.
that on purpose? Why do you do
Yeah.
that?
I do that because I'm not a know it all.
Mhm.
I'm not a lender, right? I'm not an inspector. I'm a realtor,
Yeah.
right? And so sometimes it's best to hear it from the horse's mouth,
Mm.
right? And so I like to bring in that talent
Yeah.
to educate the consumer like, hey, this is coming from someone who's been doing this for 13 years,
Yeah.
right? They're well informed. They have been through these crazy markets,
Yeah.
right? They know when a market is crashing and the rumors you hear about the market crashing, that can never happen, right?
Yeah.
Because people who are homeowners are getting pre-approved can truly afford their house because there's so many checks and balances in place for people to get pre-approved.
Yeah.
Whereas in 2008, when it crashed, people were faking bank statements. They were
Wow.
faking W-2s. They
Mhm.
were faking offer letters,
Oh my
right? And
goodness.
so it's not like that anymore. So
Yeah.
yeah, I bring in that talent so people know that we're getting it from a reliable source,
Yeah.
right? And we have to be careful as realtors and not pretend to be something we're not. And we're not
Mhm.
licensed. A lot of us aren't licensed to be lenders. Unless you have your license to be a lender, allow your clients to speak to the licensed professional.
Yeah. I love that. So far, I've heard get connected with other people,
Yes.
rely not only on yourself, but get mentorship,
Uh-huh.
follow leadership. I
Yes.
love
So the
that.
very first thing that I did when I first started real estate was I partnered with a lender
Oh,
that
wow.
was okay with me asking every question underneath the sun
Oh, my
and
goodness.
never made me feel silly or stupid or anything like that. That was my first thing. And then I started to brand myself.
Hmm.
My very first photo shoot, I'll send it to you so you can use it for the video.
Yes. Yay.
If you look at this photo, you're like, damn, this guy is selling a shit ton of real estate. Haven't sold a single house. But I
Oh,
started to
my
brand
goodness.
myself as such and have
Yeah.
these beautiful professional shoots
Wow.
in these model homes, but
Yeah.
haven't sold a single house.
That's
But no one knew
amazing.
that.
That's great.
No one knew
That's a
that.
good
Yeah,
strategy.
so my advice is to start branding yourself early
Mhm.
and spend your money on things that can help you elevate your brand, like that social media coordinator,
I
like
love
that
that.
professional photographer, or that professional video person,
Yeah.
right? That way you can start branding yourself as such. And so I'm gonna share my picture with you.
Yes.
Maybe you can throw it up on the slide and look at it,
Yeah.
and you're gonna say, wow, this guy is selling a lot of
That's
houses.
too funny.
I haven't sold a single house and was
I can't
worrying
wait to
about, hey,
see
I'm
that.
running out of money. I need to sell a house. Yeah, but
Yes,
that was,
that's
and
too
that
funny.
really, really, really jump started my career,
Yeah.
the branding, and it just
Wow.
all goes back to where we're talking about that marketing.
That's scary because in the beginning, you like you said, you don't really have money.
You
And to do
don't.
that, where did you get that inspiration from? Who
Um,
told you to do that?
yeah. So I've always been. I always like to present myself a certain way.
Hmm.
Always. And I was raised that way. That you have one opportunity to make a lasting impression on people.
Wow.
So I carried that into my adulthood. And
Yeah.
so even when I was in property management, my staff was like on point. We always looked
Hmm.
nice together.
Yeah.
The office always looked and felt a certain way. So
Hmm.
I just knew that branding myself was so important
Hmm.
and that I needed to carry that same branding idea for the
Yeah.
company I worked for
Hmm.
and to my own business and my own
I love
career.
that. Yeah,
Mhm.
that's powerful. Okay, so to close up, I have some deeper
Okay, let's
questions.
do it.
Okay, what is one lesson or failure in the past that has happened to you that you don't regret going through?
I think leaving my job. So I was chasing this promotion to be this like regional director.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt that I was so qualified for it. It should have been mine. And I was told that I was next up for it.
Mm-hmm.
And so it just never happened for me.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt that my identity was in that promotion and that job title. And I wanted it so bad. And so me getting to the point where it's like, okay, let me do something for myself and quitting my job. I'm a Virgo at heart. And so
Yeah.
I'm just like, I live very structured. My routine is my routine.
Yeah.
But for me to completely put myself in a situation where money's not guaranteed,
Mm-hmm.
right? You having a set schedule every day is not a thing anymore,
Mm-hmm.
right? So it was the scariest thing that I have done,
Yeah.
but the most rewarding.
Wow.
And I am a God-fearing man, and I just woke up one day and the Lord told me, let's do it.
Yeah.
Let's get ready to rumble.
I love
And
it.
do I have the energy and me to do that all over again? Probably not.
Oh my
Because
gosh.
it took a lot of sacrifice. And I know that people watching this podcast just see the glitz and the glam and the
Yeah.
closings. But guys, there's so much in the
Mm-hmm.
background that no one sees. Right. When you're like, I haven't closed on a house in 3 or 4 months,
Yeah.
I'm running low on money, but I still have these expenses
Mm-hmm.
as if I'm closing
Oh
houses
my
every single month.
goodness.
So starting off and being in that position
Mm-hmm.
and sometimes taking my last
Wow.
to buy a client's gift or to do a client pop by,
Yeah.
right? All that is so
Oh my
scary.
gosh. I like am getting emotional
Yes, it
because
all is so scary.
yeah.
So that was been the scariest, but the most rewarding, and that fear for failure
Mm-hmm.
is in the forefront of your mind.
Yeah.
But one of my brokers that I was with prior to going over to my current brokerage was stop worrying about your next deal.
Wow.
Just show up for yourself every single day like it's your last day, and the business would naturally come. And once I was told that from someone who I really respect, it just clicked. And once I got rid of that fear of where's my next deal coming from, and I'm going to just show up every day and put myself out there, business came. And it's about like trusting the
Yeah.
process and trusting, for me, God to guide my business
Mm-hmm.
and to bring the perfect clients my way.
Yeah.
And once I understood that and I believed in that in my heart of hearts, I was taken
Yeah.
off from there. Yeah.
That's crazy how many similarities we've heard of like God telling you
Yes.
like just do it.
Yes, you have to just
And
do it because it's a very selfless business.
yeah.
I mean, I have bought refrigerators, washer and dryers,
Oh my
right? I
gosh.
have
That's
given and lowered my commission to make a deal
mm,
happen.
yeah.
And so one of my clients texted me yesterday, just randomly. We closed 4 months ago. And it was like, hey, G, we just want to just text you and just say thank you to your
Mm,
dedication to your clients.
yeah.
And that really hit me because there's so many times where we don't get thank yous,
Hmm.
right? But we bought refrigerators, right?
Yeah.
We paid for ACs to get repaired.
Wow. That's
But it's whatever it takes to make that deal happen, to make
mm,
that client happy. Not that we're looking for thank yous, right? But being grabbed on and pulled and asked by
yeah.
so many people all the time, it wears on your spirit a
Yeah,
little
for
bit.
sure.
Yeah,
Of
like, okay,
course.
I'm a little wore out right now. And so I had to literally pull over and just kind of sit in that for a little bit. That
Yeah.
although you may not get that thank you that day that you're
Hmm.
closing that deal or even that next month, your clients realize and recognize your commitment to them.
Yeah.
And so
I love that.
I sacrifice seeing family, right? I sacrifice so much to be there for my clients and be
Hmm.
able to be present
Yeah.
for their needs. Yeah. So,
Yeah. It's not
yeah,
easy.
the deeper I get into it, I'm like, this is a very selfless business. And a
Yeah.
lot of us don't do it for the money because if it's
Hmm.
for the money, it's not enough money,
Yeah.
right? Just like this video I saw of this agent, how she took $100 and she just broke it down piece by piece. And by the time it got to her, she had $5.
Oh my
That's
gosh.
how it is.
Yes.
Right? That's how it is.
Oh
It's,
my
it's touched
goodness.
by so many
Yeah.
people before it actually hits you. And
Yeah.
so I think people come in being bamboozled
Mhm.
that I'm going to just make a lot of money. It's going to be super easy and I can, and this is what I'm going to do.
Mhm.
But when you really sit into and you realize like, hey, if I don't buy that refrigerator, right? This deal is dead,
Yeah.
right? And name a business where a refrigerator can kill a deal, kill your paycheck.
That is
You
crazy.
can't, right?
What? Oh my
You
gosh.
cannot. And so it's crazy.
Oh my
But it's about
goodness.
having a really good support system. And so
Yeah.
my fiance, my family
Mm,
are just all really good support systems
love
that
that.
keeps me going and that calls me, and they always call me at the time where I need that quick pep talk,
Hmm.
right? Like, this is your calling, this is what you're supposed to be doing. Wipe them tears, get up and go
Yes.
close on that deal.
I love that. So let's move on to family.
Yes.
You recently got
I
engaged. How
did.
was that?
Yes, I did. I did. And so we have been dating for 10 years.
Oh my gosh, G. What were you
I
waiting
know.
for, G?
Yes. And most people don't even know
Uh,
that I've been in such a long, healthy relationship.
hmm.
So yeah, we've been dating for 10 years. And so for me, it was about getting myself financially in a position where I felt that I can truly support a
Hmm.
family. And I think that is the fear that a lot of men have
Mm.
of why sometimes we wait much longer. But she was in law school. I was traveling a lot for work at the time.
Mhm.
And so I know that we've been like chasing our careers.
Yeah.
And so we're now at the point where like we're ready to take those next steps.
Yeah.
But I think for us, it's like we have a friendship
Hmm.
which saves our relationships,
Yeah.
right? And so it's like we know each other
Yeah.
like the back of our
Mm.
hands, right? So I can predict her movie before she makes it
Yeah.
and vice versa, right? And
I
so
love.
someone told me this joke where like, hey, dude, you waited 10 years. Did you feel the pressure of getting a really nice ring?
Uh-huh.
Absolutely. I couldn't come with just some diamond. You needed some glasses to
That's
see.
so funny.
And so I had to come in with like really showing her like, hey, thank you for waiting on me
Mm.
for 10 years
Yeah.
until I felt that I was ready for it. Yeah. And
Yeah.
so,
Oh, I love
yeah, we're
it.
planning our fairy tale wedding. We're actually taking engagement
Ooh.
photos this weekend.
Oh,
Yeah. So it's been a
congrats. That's
really, really
awesome.
fun journey to
Yeah.
kind of see that natural progression
Yeah.
happen.
I love it.
Yeah.
Okay, honeymoon, mountains or beaches?
Beaches.
Beach?
Yes,
Ooh, y'all like
beaches.
the hot weather?
We like the hot weather. We like being on the beach with our margaritas, the
Yeah.
bathing suits.
I
That's
love
our
it.
thing.
Okay,
Yes.
awesome, awesome. Okay, I forgot to do the icebreaker questions in the beginning,
Okay,
so we're
let's do
gonna
it.
ice break the end of this
Perfect.
conversation.
Perfect.
Okay, coffee or soda?
For me,
Yeah, for you.
I'm gonna say coffee.
Coffee?
Yes.
Okay. Raul's like, yeah, my man. The obsession is too real.
Yes.
Okay, I think I might know this answer,
Okay.
but you let me know.
Okay.
Suburbs or downtown Houston?
I'm going to say downtown Houston today,
Okay.
but the older I'm getting and the more we are having conversations about starting a
Mhm.
family,
Yeah.
the suburbs are popping up.
Yeah.
Right? Which scares me a little bit, right? Because we've always been like city people,
Yes.
but I can see the benefit of the suburbs. But
That
I'm
is
going to
funny.
say downtown today.
Okay, I love
Yes.
it. I love it. Okay, yeah, Apple or Android?
Of course, Apple. And
Why is that even a
what is
question?
Android? What is that? I've never heard of that before.
Okay, Ryan Serhant or Tom Ferry?
That's a good question. I'm going to say Ryan Serhant.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I just like
Oh.
his energy. I like his vibe. He's someone that I kind of watch a lot
Mhm.
and kind of try to mimic a little bit,
Yeah.
but make it my own.
A
Yes.
little more modern, a little younger.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Very cool and trendy and things like
Mhm.
that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, I like it. And then last one,
Okay.
eating out or eating in?
I'm going to say eating out.
Eating
Yeah,
out.
I'm the cook between Ashley and I.
Yeah.
Right? And so I don't always want to cook after working all day and negotiating deals all day.
That's funny.
So I'm going to say eating out because
Okay,
we
give
love
us
fine dining.
one recommendation for eating out.
One recommendation.
Your top
My top place. Oh, that's a good question. In Houston,
in Houston.
my top place, I would have to say, you got me on this one.
Oh,
I'm gonna have
depends on the mood.
yeah,
right?
yeah. And so we are doing like date nights on Thursday nights.
Oh, I love it.
And we're trying new things. There's so
Ooh.
many restaurants in Houston
Yeah.
that we found ourselves just eating at the same kind of chain restaurants.
Yeah.
And so we recently went to this restaurant called Muse. It had a
Ooh.
beautiful scenery because when I'm looking at restaurants, I want the atmosphere plus the food.
The experience. It's a full
Exactly.
experience.
So
I
if I had
like
to say
it.
something today, I would say definitely Muse. 'Cause we
And
really,
what kind of food is that?
they're like Mediterranean type food.
Ooh,
They
I
have
gotta
really
go.
good cocktails,
Yeah.
really good appetizers, and so
Nice.
and they have a really phenomenal vibe
Ooh, I
too.
like it. I
Yeah.
like it. To end off, how can people reach you, get in contact with you?
Yes.
I feel like you're super inspirational, the type of
Thank you
people
so
that you
much.
want to reach.
Mhm.
If anybody has been inspired, which I know a lot of people will be,
Yes.
how can they reach you?
The quickest and best way to reach me is going to be my cell phone.
Okay.
And so in a lot of my posts, I drop my cell phone number in those posts for people to reach
Okay.
me.
Perfect.
Social media, Instagram, DMs. If you reach out, I'm going to get back with you.
Yay.
You can Google me.
Yes.
You can find information there too. But I would say my Instagram, social media, and my phone number.
Perfect. And it's just your name, right?
Just my
Yeah.
name. Yeah,
Okay.
keep it simple.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, it has been an absolute pleasure being here today, hearing a little bit about your journey. I know
Thank you
there's
for
so
having me.
much more to it, but we got a little glance in your
Yes,
life.
thanks for having me. And it's people like you guys that I have met through this journey that allows me to be on these platforms.
I love
so
it.
I really appreciate it.
Is there one last takeaway that you want the people to know, or do you want to
Yeah.
give a shout out to your listing?
Yeah,
Or
yeah. I want to keep it kind of inspirational.
okay,
And so my advice to the people is if you're not uncomfortable, you're not growing. So if you find yourself being comfortable, then it's time to pivot and make a change.
I love it. Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.